It was a real dramatic day. The public gallery and the press gallery were packed, as were the benches down below. But I think what happened was the defection of Christian Wakeford galvanised the Tories against the plotters. They've overplayed their hand a little bit, and the sight of one of their own trooping across the floor to join the ranks of the Labour Party perhaps made them stop and think a little bit. I heard that some letters were being withdrawn last night. So,
and you've had that confirmed direct from the horse's mouth then? Yes. Someone who had submitted a letter has pulled it back out?
So,
interesting.
So is that the tide going back? Or I think long-term Boris Johnson is still in some trouble, but I think for the moment he's got a chance of a breather.
Yeah, and what did you make of it yesterday, Dawn? Because people were calling him David Wokeford for being a traitor. And indeed, speaking of traitors, David Davis as well. There were shouts from the front bench of traitor as he stood up and said, in the name of God, go.
I agree with David on this. I think what Wakeford did yesterday has won Boris an awful lot more support. And I think there was an area, even if you're not a Boris fan, there was an area of sympathy towards Boris in any case, because rather than the bluff and the bluster you always got with Boris, you actually were looking at a man defeated, I think, before that. And I think what Wakeford did, I mean, obviously purely the opposite of the reaction he was hoping to get, as even more sympathy, and said, we know now that people are withdrawing letters. The thing I was listening to some of the voters in Bury South, which is Wakeford's constituency, and they were saying, but I voted for a Conservative. So the thing now, surely, is that we have to have a by-election. How can you defect to the opposite party without a by-election? And interestingly, I think I'm right in saying this, David, that Wakeford himself was actually campaigning for defectors to trigger an automatic by-election. So you couldn't just wander across the floor.
Yes, I think he'd been co-signer of a bill to try and promote that.
And there's some disconcertion on the Labour benches as well, because he's voted for a lot of the hard Tory policies which Labour have opposed. So some of the left on the Labour Party saying, why are we allowing this man in our ranks?